Hello, folks. Welcome back. We got more VoD review. It is Halloween, so you can see a little bit festive here. But had a great review earlier within Uncle Phil going over the Weibo versus BLG series. This time I'm on my own for T1 versus BLG. Excited to dive into this one as always. Drop a follow, especially on Twitter and Twitch, where I post live updates about League and also about when I stream, as I do stream these live. Likes, comments, subs help the channel out a lot. And yeah, appreciate it. Anyway, let's dive on in. Okay, this is game 1. All right. We have a lot of OPs up this game. It seems like there was just a real sign up to ban out champs that, each team don't want to deal with from the other team. This time around, we end up getting Yone into Skarn or Renekton, very early Renekton, and Silas. So 2 lanes that can hopefully beat Yone later on. They did take away Smolder and Jax, which I kind of like if we're going to open with Yone. So I actually really like T1's approach in this draft. Even if giving away Silas was a lot, you do have Ashe Renata. They ban out Blitz and Ezreal. Blitz is a Lehen special and really good in the Renata. They do leave up the Ziggs. So magic damage mage, some good defense. Like, defending tower is going to be a lot easier now for Gen G. They take Vi Gragas to try and execute. And it's Leona. I actually did like this draft for Gen G. I think that if the plan is to get Gragas later on, leaving up Jax is okay, and I do feel like T1 somewhat figured that out as this move forward. Yeah. Because, like, the new Renekton Gragas matchup's just not nearly as good as it was in the past for Gragas. Renekton has a lot more windows and a lot of a longer time where he has priority and can win. So, yeah. Anyway. I do really like Ziggs Leona, though. It gives you really good pressure against Ashe. Just ability to take away sums, really big. Setups, I think, are really important in this game. So, I thought that was nice. And I didn't see these. I didn't see the first 2 games. I saw the last 2 games of this series. Anyway, we're going to swap on Renekton. I like that. Gragas should handle himself much better in the swap. And it's the 2-2. Renekton's a little bit late to lane. And they're playing out 3 lanes. So this is something we talked about a lot. NA teams were playing out 3 lanes in the swaps, taking top laners where you can do so. Renekton's one where you do have to split XP to try and get to level 3. Your level 1 is really, really, really shit. And meanwhile, Gragas can start in lane. The Leona Ziggs can't really do enough to him. Or, sorry, the Renekton Ziggs. Because, again, level 1 sucks. Keen's got a TP up. He did get level 2, which is big. People have really started to figure out how to min-max the dives. And we do not go for the dive as T1. I'm a little bit surprised about this. I feel like a dive here is extremely valuable. But we did 2-wave. I think if it's level 1, they dive. But they did 2-wave stack. And it's not 3 yet for owners. So now the wave's kind of dead. And they don't... There isn't a health bar to take away. Or the health bar is not low enough for them to go for this. Meanwhile, Zeus, even if he dies, gets TP back, it's fine. Really well played. Really well played by Zeus. Oh my god. Okay, how can we play this better as Gen G? I do want to give Zeus some credit for buffering the Q. Like that's really nasty, actually. I think Paze's W is what's troll. And then obviously Canyon taking the bonus 2 is troll. How did he take... What's doing damage, though? What actually did damage to Zeus is... I don't get why this goes on to Canyon. Did anyone know? Or does anyone know? Like, it can't be Aftershock. Like, we already... How does this go on to Canyon? Like, what? Oh my god. I mean, it is a disaster. And the fact that Zeus gets to live this is so big. Like, again, he saves TP. They can swap. They have the option now to choose their lanes or swap them, or at least match They're only down 1 TP. Turret just really dislike Canyon. I have no idea how Canyon took aggro. I actually cannot answer that one. Because his W damage is delayed. The Aftershock already went off. There was no damage going on to him. Would have been I don't know if there's a tick. Like, if Skarner has a tick on his Q or something. That's just not the case, no? It was so random. I think Gohan's kind of trolled this. Okay, so we're gonna have Chovy. I don't really like this swap from Gen G. I think this is definitely advantage T1. They have to pick their lanes after this. And Zeus can TP top to catch this. He would have had to hide from Ziggs to do it. They're just going to send Ashe back up and then try and play for Grubs. And then Faker's getting help and support, which is big. Because, like, for me, you do have to support the Yone a little bit in this lane. Really nice. So owner is gonna be Grubs for Drake. And the Gragas is in an okay spot in this lane. I think the swap ended up being quite good for T1. Like, for me, the Gragas is even on XP. Oh. I mean, it is a bit of a stall. Like, it's a bit of a flip, but... Oh, we get the runes now. Nothing I want to talk about. All right. And Ashe gets a Mega Wave. So, like, the waves here are still better for T1. Renekton kind of caught back up a little bit from that, but, I mean, he's just going to fall behind here. I think 3 Grubs are big for T1. They just decided to play out, like, a lot of lanes instead of trying to narrow up the map, which I think is okay, but just something I'm noticing. Like, they're doing well at getting some plates. I feel like the biggest difference I've seen so far, like, Weibo and BOG with Grub advantage, they do really, like, kind of what Uncle Phil was talking about, they really do hard commit to play out 4-1s. And I think this comp, T1's really committed to trying to play out 3 lanes, which does make sense, because for me, the Gragas, like, later on, is a real problem for Gen G. Especially if it's Grass Silas. Like, there's no way on planet Earth that Grass Silas can overcome Gragas. So I think Gragas economic victory is the side lanes, but the mid-game spike here for Gen G, like, this fight should be really big for them. With Ziggs Leona. Like, this is a fight for me that Gen G really wants. So the fact that T1's able to get a 4th Grub here is really big. And I'm really surprised the Gen G don't go for this. Okay, they do. They cut Zeus off. Or Faker off, sorry. But it's still 5. Like, they're fine giving the 1. They don't need the 6. Oh, I'm surprised T1 wants to fight. Like, they get a TP out here. If they get out, it's so good, actually. Yeah, good night. Yeah, I don't like the take here from T1. I think if they just get out and Zeus doesn't match the TP, you have 5 Grubs, you can go play the map. And it's just not worth... Like, if you sent 1, like, to get 6, it's fine. Like, honestly, I would kill Owner to get 6 Grubs, potentially. And then just go play out, like, for 2 plates bot. Or get TP out of, like, Gen G. And if you bleed a TP there, then, like, the next reset, I think that you have a lot of options for how you can use the Grub advantage. I don't think the TP in here and like the fight for this one is worth it. They hard committed to play the bot side, clean up owner camps. They could have been really fast on getting the dragon, and it would have been much better for them. I think that's a spike that's really good for Gen G between having Renekton and having the Silas the Ziggs Leona. Now T1 do open up top lane. So it's just gonna be base race, but it's 5-1 grubs. Or not base race, just turret race. It's 5-1 grubs. I'll actually get it first and top. They do have members. And they're playing hard in the Yone lane. They do get Guma cleanse out here, which is not bad. Again, I think Gen G, like, using Leona to take away some tools, so their fight ends up just being more explosive, is really good. Like, for me, the big difference between Leona and Rel is that Leona, like, down flash and off timers is just a lot more effective. And then Rel with flash can just create the biggest plays. And the fact it was first brick is pretty good. But like now T1, because they took bot and they played out that lane, they're going to open again. So they're going to drop this and then try and play up for Rift. They're going to play 2 lanes. So they tickle Rift. They can't get it. That's a nice stall here from Gen G. T1 lost a big bot wave and now it's slow pushing away from them. And they reset both the Yone and the Ashe. I mean, it is Bork for the Yone and the Ashe got Kraken. So they are really big spikes, but they weren't able to get those before this. So, I mean, like, this makes me feel like I think that T1 can play up hard for this, but they did neither item spikes. Like, unironically, I'm okay with sacking this if it does mean that Kraken and Bork come out, and then they're able to find a fight afterwards. So, like, it's up to T1 to stall this one out, but they don't really have the firepower to do so. So, yeah, Gen G burn, and then Keria gets caught. So, Kanar. Alright, good catch. Oh, Faker caught the E and then E'd back. That's nice. And they insta-rift to break mid. Good. This is nice from Gen G. This is nice from Gen G. Though they didn't fully break it. That's big, but it's still Ziggs. So, like, Ziggs makes up for some of the grub deficit. But this 1-1 Drakes, like, I still kind of like where T1 is in this game. I mean, they're going to overload top again. Okay. So they do drop mid, but they should get top here. Or they can at least threaten getting top here. They don't. Wow, Silas able to hold. Damn, Silas ended up being really valuable this game. The fact that Silas was able to hold that in that scenario is pretty ridiculous. I mean, good TP. Really well played by Gen G to knock down the 2 outers here. They did a really nice job of slowing up T1 trying to overload with grub advantage. They really did. And with the Yone, they can't pressure it as well if they're trying to play the narrow 4-1. So maybe looking back, like if we're going to hindsight Harry this, maybe T1 should have committed more to playing 3 lanes and making sure that Gragas is able to scale. Because by like the groups and the sacks that they have had, Zeus has just been weak side, but I feel like we set Faker behind a little bit by trying to play to him so many times where Chovy has an XP advantage now. And Keen also, like, it's even an XP. All right, so T1's going to play for 2. Ziggs stops it. Nice. They get the dragon, though. Maybe that's why Silas is, like, really valuable. Like, I didn't realize that he can't really be dove. Oh, that's pretty nasty. Why is the hens here? This is a greedy fucking base. Like, if he exits and base on top try, it's fine. But instead, Keria finds him. It's a really greedy base. It's a really greedy base. Should have just lost his flash back a pit. You can base in back a pit, by the way. I'm actually okay with that. But it was too far up. He should hide himself in the pit if he wants to take a base that greedy or just walk up to top try. Regardless. Oh, the hens is back. He knew he was dead, so he didn't burn his shit. And then Faker gets chain. Oh, this is really, really bad overextension from T1. Like, there is split. I feel like Keria, Guma, and Faker all being altless and then playing for this turret, like T1 did kind of lose their minds. I don't think they have the tools to actually do this. And again, I think scaling up in the sides, like I don't think they win sides right now, but I do think over time, or as the game gets longer, the Gragas will overtake the side lane. Gragas is just immovable and should be fine. Like, Gragas in the side I really like, by the way. This was really well played by Chovy. All right, Chinchi doing a nice job using the Ziggs to get control. Giving some bonus camps to Ziggs at this time. Nice, I like that. Ziggs with Econ. Like, if Ziggs gets ahead of the curve, this champion's so oppressive. Still really feel like on Fimbulwinter, Zeus is just going to be immovable in the side lane in both matchups. I think the Andri's second is appropriate from Chovy this game. I'm a little bit surprised that he's not wrapping up the Zanyas, so he's going to have to play well in the next couple of fights. He's stealing ults where he can go unstoppable and survive shit, and I think that's why he's going to go Leandri's and not the Zanyas. Just a gut feeling. Like, he has been taking some Yone Vi ults, so he can kind of dive. Have some tools to go attack Ashe. Whoa. T1 Baron. It's on the dragon timer. This dragon doesn't matter. Oh, they yoink it. Nice from Faker. They do get owner. Zeus can hold the line. Carry McHale's himself. Faker buffers with E. Canyon gets a double drag. But they get Guma out. Really well played by T1. God damn. Oh, it's a little bit too good from T1. I mean, again, Chovy no stopwatch. He doesn't have an ult. His ult timed out. Yeah, his ult timed out. He wasn't able to grab an ult, so he's fighting with no ult. I wonder if T1 factored that into their call. Because, again, he just gets murked. I mean, Faker has a wonderful fight. They one-shot Chovy. His flash was bad. Was a little late. He needed the flash out of the Yone ult itself. A beautiful cast from Zeus. Zeus having the flash to get the hands, it hurts a little bit, but... Like, again, Zeus, the Gragas is so valuable this game. Nothing kills Gragas this game. So if it's Gragas is your pseudo frontline, and then you just buy space for the Ashe Renata, it's really nice. Really nice. The fact that Pays is on Gragas and not on the rest of the group, I do think hurt the Gen G fight a bit, but still really well played by T1, just to recognize that that dragon doesn't matter, and this is the call. Now they're going to 104. Owner fixes mid. So what we were talking about with like connecting, T1 did successfully based on how they played the waves early on in this Baron. Faker traded through the next Silas W. It's a little bit of a bummer. He got around that timer, would have been a wee bit more efficient, but that's fine. What's up, Quana? Oh, boy. And they see other people on waves. They know that Chovy's walking over. This is just a beautiful chain. It's a really nice R from Canyon, but... We'll put Guma. Ashe, again, big difference maker in this game. And Ziggs is the one piece of range that you have. So if you aren't able to make plays onto Ashe, the value that Ashe brings and how much stronger Ashe makes the rest of your team throughout fights, just with what her auto attacks bring with the slows, it's so bullshit. This champ's so strong. And like, you don't need to have a ton of damage in this game going up against the Ziggs because Gen G are cooldown reliant, not DPS reliant. So you're going to out DPS no matter what, which is where I think the Ashe and Gragas are really, really valuable as a combo. I think that they fit each other's identity really, really well. With like Gragas being able to peel, still have slows, and then be able to engage, like set up Ashe and follow up on Ashe. It's really nice. All right, so Faker got top +2. They see Renekton, they TP, and then they take the vision away from the Ziggs. Ziggs really wants to set up in River, T1. They get top +2 to force Renekton to show, and then they make sure they get River control. So now it's like being played on neutral, and Ziggs has to walk in instead of people walking into Ziggs. Really nice from T1. Oh, they do get Keria. The double cask. Zeus' cask is really good. The fact that the hens followed this is hilarious, by the way. Watch the hens. Because the E hits, and then it's the cask out, then the flash. Like, actually, really funny. Nice flash from Piz. Meanwhile, Faker's ult's beautiful. Right as Chovy exits Sonya's. And again, Zeus, like him just stalling out the Silas is that's all Ashe needs. So Guma's safe now. And again, Paze is like isolated in the fight. The flash is good, but Paze isn't hitting the right people. Like I own her with the Sundered Sky again. It's kind of fine. Yeah, it's fine. Well played. That's game. That's game 1. All right, good game. I think the Baron was just exquisite from T1, and the value of the Gragas really, really high in this series. Or in this game, sorry. Okay. Game 2 draft. We have a side swap. The bans are Yone, Smolder, Aurora on red side for T1. I think that's okay. I'm okay with putting Canyon on this. Meanwhile, AD is banned away from Guma. And it ends up getting a Kate plus Kindred pick with this. It's Jax and Ahri. I will say Ahri is really nice here because like it's double marksman, so you can always attack with the Ahri. And then Jax gets hella value, and then it's the blind Braum. We're big Braum enjoyers on the stream, as if you guys are not familiar with this. I was the #1 Braum in A when I peaked GM. I do one trick this champ. Or I did. It was like Braum Leona. You do not blind this champion. The fact that they got Rel picked into them is actually like kind of nice / handy, but I don't think this champ's blindable. Ends up being Maokai picked into the top side, so more of this Maokai top being attempted, and then Silas later on. I think Maokai does have some value here. You can cancel Skarner E with your Q. Twisted Advance is decent. Like you're okay in lane swaps, and if you're able to scale, it's fine. You just try and neutralize Jax the way that you can with Gragas, but I was a little bit surprised it wasn't just another Gragas. It would have given you a lot of control over Kindred. I think they needed more main engage, and I think the Braum like really pit them into this. This is a lane that we didn't see a ton of in LCK, but LCK CL love this lane. They love Kate Braum. Because it's just really, like, if you have to dive Kate, the traps, like, being easily placed after Winter's Bite is really nice. And it's just Silas in here, too. Big thing is that DPS advantage is in the Kai'Sa, and in this matchup, yes, Kate can bully, but if you lane swap, and you get Kai'Sa in the mid game, accelerated at all, Kate can just never move. And I don't think they have a way to stop that. Like, stop the onslaught from Gen G. It's not enough for me. Like, T1 have to catch engages. I don't think, like, because of the Braum, like, the stop isn't instant. Braum takes time. Ooh, really like this from Guma. I don't like this from Keria. So the way that I played Braum, or like my logic of Braum, is I think that any and all move speed is hella valuable because your E scales off of a percentage of your move speed. So if you stack it, your E gets more valuable, not to mention move speed. Like my theory on Braum is that you just want to apply and proc Winter's Bite to everyone. It's your job to apply it. It's the job of the team to try and proc it. You help with that, right? So I liked approach velocity, and I would greed free boots. You can't do free boots in a comp game, but I think approach velocity is really valuable on this champion. And then also conditioning, because like for me, this lane is whatever. I know it's going to be a lane swap, and Bone Pointy can really help with that and getting dives off, but your value with conditioning and overgrowth, given your E, and also your W is really high. You just get more mileage out of conditioning. Because again, you get like scaling, and it's a scaling pick. That was a lot of my solo queue logic and Braum. I recognize that all that can work in pro play, but like when I was high elo playing a lot of Braum, I did have edge by greeting those things. It's like solo queue would always break out into fights. Like as long as you just don't get blown up, then Braum can play the game. Anyway, we have a decided swap, and things get a little bit funky here from T1. Because their bot lane got stuck. So they don't like commit to this swap for whatever reason. And so they're late to get XP in the lanes. The good part is that they got Kindred to start on the weak side. So Kindred might be able to like 3-quadrant, which would be massive. But Rel spots this, so now Canyon's going to be behind. But if they dive Zeus, it's fine. Braum's coming. Really nice stop from Genji. And again, like Braum level 1, just not good. Keria is a little bit late on this. Like he doesn't, like Braum doesn't impact this lane at all. He's just stealing XP from Silas for me. I think that if Braum just instantly went down here to hover, I think you're going to be level 1-on-1. Like that's just how it's going to be. And then if you're under tower, this never is able to happen. It's really well played. And then this falls apart. Zeus again plays this fantastically well. And Genji does play this very well too. Thought Zeus' escape was about as good as it could go. Again, if you die, you just get the TP back. So again, I was talking a lot on the stream, guys, about how I think that you should be playing lane swaps where you play out 3 lanes from level 1. That's like probably the biggest talking point that we've had throughout Worlds, like what NA teams were doing well. And other teams have like started to adapt that. Again, the NA teams were picking champs that could start in lane level 1. They were specifically picking top laners that were not Renekton to be able to play 3 lanes from level 1. There was edge there. And T1, it seems that they've adapted this throughout, which I appreciate. Like, again, there was legitimate edge. Oh, man. This lane does kind of suck Faker right now. Like, Rel is just way more impactful in this lane and scenario. That wave's frozen, so that does hurt Faker quite a bit. And with Silas abilities, like, you just do push. The big perk of this game so far is that Owner is set up in pretty good shape. Top lane, though, is pretty even. And, like, that's, like, the one lead that, like, you actually have as Owner. Besides that, the Pays is going to be ahead. And, again, Pays, like, getting out of the early levels against Cape Rom is huge. Whoa. They TP'd Faker up? I mean, Faker can pressure the Kai'Sa. Dude, Faker might go to Assassin player. Oh, okay. I mean, Pays got 6, but they were able to get Flash Ult, but they don't have pressure to actually take the Herald. They're behind. Those waves are in. The Kai'Sa 6, like, that's real. That's worth for Genji. That's really worth for Genji. Keen's getting plates, too. This is all really worth for Genji. Maokai's weak as shit right now. And then... I Faker's going to sack his life. I mean, Faker, the flash from the Hens is interesting because it actually prevents Faker from getting, like, further out because that's who he CC'd. So it's the only person you get proc Kai'Sa ult off of. So I think the Hens flash is actually really good there. Because, like, if Faker is able to go to his turret there and has Owner, he lives. So I think the flash is necessary and actually really, really smart from the Hens. It's interesting. Damn. Nice start from Canyon. Like, the fact he was there is kind of nice, but, I mean, at least T1 forces Jack's TP and gets Maokai. Oh, it doesn't even get a plate. And Jack's TP's top. Wow, so Genji used that to pull off a lane swap, and he's going to pull this? Wow, that's actually really, really good. This is really impressive from Genji. I know they lose the bot wave, but they just get the commit to take the dragon now, too. It's easy. Yeah. So, like, T1 do get to choose to match the lanes. They just lose dragon for it. Really well played. Really well played. So, second grubs for T1 now. But I think they're going to be weaker at that fight, so they still don't want it. Again, the Kai'Sa being ahead of the curve against Caitlyn's huge, and Caitlyn was never able to lane bully. And now you just have Shiv for Kai'Sa. It's going to really, really help with that matchup. The lane spot was really, really successful for Genji. I don't think T1 played or read this one well. They were late to playing out the lanes they wanted to play. Owner got ahead, but is it going to be worth it or not? It's the question. And I don't think it's going to... Like, the Fed Kai'Sa, for me, really breaks bot lanes, so it's hard. I don't know if Owner can break this game. And real lack of engage here for T1. Like, it's got to be off Maokai R's, which I think is why they went Maokai in this scenario, but it's just hard still. This game's looking rough, yeah. The lane swap was really rough, and the Kai'Sa being this far ahead against the Caitlyn's huge. The lane swap, like, really impacts a game like this. Because Caitlyn needs to murder Kai'Sa in, like, the first three to 5 levels. If you don't do that, then, like, you come out in the mid-game at this point, the Kai'Sa can murder you whenever she wants in the side lane. It's really hard to play as Kate. And you're down 6 grubs. So now Genji, they just open up to play 2 lanes, and yeah, T1's on the back foot for everything. They have Silas, they're only a wave clear as Caitlyn, and even that's not great. Yep. I mean, they defensively survive. There is a window with the Counter-Strike where you can Twisted Advance, and you won't land with a Twisted Advance if you're at max range until Counter-Strike, until like after it expires. You can dodge out in the stun and then get your trade down as Maokai. You can see Zeus abusing that wall. That is a big part of this matchup. All right, Lens is inting. I mean, why is Lens here? This is crazy. The fact that this wasn't a reset from the Hens into like go bot, or like once they pull off on or back off in the top play, or it's not a top dive. Like the fact that he walks down here and doesn't, yeah, that's really bad. Just did not respect the sides of the map. And this actually gives T1 an opportunity to go ham, which I think they need to do. They have good scaling, but like they just don't have, I don't know if they have the damage. Like they don't have the engage to like force the pace. So when you do, you are down man advantage and like you're losing turrets to grubs, then I think you have to force something. The fact that they can is really hard. Yeah, they get Drake, but this Drake... Oh. Okay, well that's a fucking doomsday scenario. Yeah, that's a fucking doomsday scenario. They spent all their tempo to try and get that Drake. They were gonna definitely like trade turrets for that with a Rift. And Jax got top during all this as well. Oh, that hurts. That's really bad. Alright, that really hurts. Yeah, T1's gonna have a lot of issues now. Still this Leandri's rush on the Ahri. You are against some health stackers, which is, I mean, it's just interesting to see. Like, look at how accelerated the Kai'Sa is, though, this game. Like, Jesus Christ. I swear, if it's Kai'Sa Ezreal, Pays is just so good. Pays is a good gamer on these champs. Alright, so they're gonna open top. They're gonna play out these 2 lanes. They're gonna try and get bot. Or try and get mid. After they get bot in. Alright, so these guys catch the wave of the turret. It's fine. Like, top wave is gonna come to Genji, so I think it's fine the way they're playing this. Like, they just neutralize the map. The dead lane's coming to them, and then they get to go catch the dead lane. So, like, they're going to catch every lane now. And they can choose Bro after this. Like, so scary Faker to hit this wave. He can because he's got Ariel, but yeah, you can see like how cautious he's approaching. And he lost Ariel for that. Really nice though for Gen G. Like again, a neutral map state where the dead lane's coming to you, and then they get to fix everything. It's like really nice. They still have some time to get more scaling on the Kaisa. It's really good. Owner like hasn't really been able to build up his lead too much, just because a lot of the map's been handshakes, and Gen G's lanes are winning / ahead. So. And yeah, they get pushed through top, and then they shift bot. And they just get the Drake. T1 don't want to fight. Sup, Cubby? Sup, Moon Knight by Night? Glad guys like Abadag and Licorice still managed to end up on teams for 25. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they both won LCS titles before. This map's so hard for T1. I really like how Gingy's playing this. The fact they get Braum, like, before Braum can ult's really big. That should just be one more wave in the Baron start. Okay. Of Keen collapsing. Keen has a nice angle. You're not tanky as Maokai because you go Grasp. And you get melted. Nice. You get that for free. Yeah, Keen just buys all the space in the world. Really nice from Pays. Oh. Oh, that hurts. That's game. Good game, Gen G. Good map from them. Yeah, I don't know what else to say here. Really well played by them. I think the swap like really killed the Kate pick, and the Braum blind was just not good. I think if you have carry, you just I don't know why the fuck you'd blind this champion, man. This is what I do when I have no hands. Carry is the exact opposite of that. Like we're putting one like the best player in this position in the world on blind Braum. Feels bad, man. Okay, let's get the draft up. Game 2. So it's T1 on blue side, which by the way they have finals. And instead of banning the Jax, they ban the Yone this time around. What changes? None of the bans change here. Besides that one, they want to open up with Ashe, which is let through again. I don't know why we're banning Xayah when Ashe exists. I think they're scared of, like, if they give Xayah... Like, but Xayah, I don't like Xayah into Ashe, either. Like, if you're going to pick Ezreal, like, later on, too, I just don't get the Xayah bans. Maybe Xayah Rakan's, like, just, like, running train on them in the background or something, but I don't get it. Regardless, we get Ashe first pick. Ashe still broken. Then we end up with Renata and the Jax. Ahri, so we're already showing dive. And we have like a shit ton of anti-dive in first 3, and Gragas wins. Like, Gragas can win both these matchups later on. You stymie / neutralize the Jax one. Yes, you can win side. Ahri, you just straight up win later on in the game. Like, Ahri just cannot really pressure you. And we have great disengage and a great way to deal with Nocturne, which comes out. So it's the core identity we've seen from Gen G. Like, a lot of Ahri Nocturne from them. I don't know. I just don't think it's good. I think this core is so good to start off. Then Ezreal ends up being the Vi and the Ahri. Or, the Vi and the Akali into the Ahri. Really like the Twitch ban. I think Twitch could be a problem. Same with like Kai'Sa, just like to be able to follow up on the dive. Kai'Sa makes it so like you have different angles. So if I take like you're gonna give Ezreal, but you like if Ezreal gets picked and it's just low damage, like you're just playing this. That deals with Ezreal, and then the Ashe Gragas like deals with the rest. Is kind of the logic here, which I think is very sound from T1. I really like this draft from T1. And I actually don't like the Rel. Like, I'd rather have Blitzcrank, but if you're gonna run Ezreal Blitzcrank, it's fine. Blitz is really good in this. There's a reason it was banned game 1. If the Hens has balls, you can play it. But it's kind of hard to play it in a Gragas, so I think that might be the logic there. Anyway. Oh, whoops. I don't love the Rel. Alright, Faker is going Electrocute. Zay is standard. It's not grass, it's phase rush. He's rushing Cosmic Drive. More grass for Ahri, so hopefully Ahri just like can't get one shot later on. I still don't love the grasp on Ahri. I think First Strike's actually really slept on when it comes to Ahri. Especially in a matchup like this, you can stack it and then try and get to like 2 items or 3 items early, and it can be really big. I really like the T1 draft. I don't know why Chovy Charm Flash this, though. I really don't. Yes, they get it over the Pays, but I think the Charm Flash is really expensive. Because now Faker wins this lane straight up from level 1. Pays gets a early tier, which is really good, but we're going to play standard lanes, which I think benefits T1 in this scenario. Their bot lane is winning, especially early on, and top wave is neutralizing. I think the lane swap, Jax is like uniquely just kind of hard to dive compared to the Gragas. I'd rather have standard lanes this time if I'm T1. We do see Nocturne going for like the Uber clear, setting up going Raptors, Wolves, Gromp into blue. So he's got 3 camps to rotate out. All right, simple game. I mean, Nocturne gets the Uber clear here. They're at least, yeah, they know that he should be on the bot side with that Hawk shot, so that's nice. And he's not going to do Gromp. They're like full tracking him, actually. So he's going to kill this off. It really does delay him going to Groves, but he's going to get, again, he dropped the tracking ward, so they get the track owner. But because of the bot prio, T1 gets to rotate up, and they're just going to send Ashe to the prio lane. Oh no, they sent Ashe mid. So they get Ashe a bigger wave. And they really starve Akali out here. But because Ashe is here, they just get to choose their objective, and they do get the grubs. And Akali's at least able to catch because they go for the dragon. And Nox not 6. I don't think you can dive Akali in the side uniquely, and then they pull the swap off. But because T1 have grubs, they just overload top, and they're going to go take a plate or 2. They're really fucking with Zeus, which is nice, because the two mid waves. I guess second mid wave ends up getting in, but because it's a cannon wave, Zeus gets the vast majority of it. Really nice. Really nice. He gets the R off before the flash comes in. Really well played by Owner. Really nice setup by Guma and Karya. I don't know. I think on being there would still make a difference. I think that's like the one note. Meanwhile, Grice gets to catch whatever the fuck he wants. And yet again, because T1 won the last rotation, they get to choose their lanes. I hate splitting XP with Ahri. I think Rel being here is useless, even if it's for 6. Like, I want my solo laners to actually have XP. We're starving them out, like, for fucking what? Good try on the fish from T1. They did burn a lot, though, like, before Dragon. Keen does have TP to get back. Zeus has to reset. So, like, they kind of get to match the tempo because Keen's going to catch that. Zeus has to walk back out, but Keen's going to TP. But when Keen's jailed... Wow. I think the big thing here is that, like, Keen gets stalled out in the back half because if he's able to TP now, then I think Grubs are still playable for Gen G. The fact that he catches that whole wave and then doesn't TP till after, and T1 actually hits this timer, like, right when it spawns, with Zeus walking out, it guarantees 4. The buffer from Karya is just insane. Because it actually gets them out and then dictates, like, what side of the fight they're on. I mean, the TP's not bad, but Chovy can't follow up. So, like, even the contention of these grubs, it's hard for Gen G. So I love how T1 just hit this, like, when it's up. And, again, if Gen G wants to do this, like, they would have had the shift Keen down bot here. Keen got this wave in. I think Keen needs to back off base and go bot here. I think Gen G here fucked up their lanes. I think they needed Chovy top because he's TP-less, and Keen would have TP back here. He would need to walk bot, catch, and then he can walk up and tail the Akali, so they'd still be behind, but the map for T1 is just better. So now when grubs spawn, Chovy has to walk the country mile. Faker's going to drop that wave to go get the 5v4, and it's a really good start from Karya. And Faker just ignores that kill. He says, fuck it. He's like, flashless Keen, altless Keen, hell yeah. Oh, I mean, the fact that he gets the auto Q off while the E is there, and then gets the E now, after the hop. Very clean, Faker. My assassin goat, man. Just a fucking goat of assassins, dude. And they 6-grub down the first turret by playing 2 lanes, which is just clean as fuck. And then returning the map, like, Zeus is just going to fix top, so top's going to be +1. I guarantee you shifts down the mid here. Yeah, he's going to base, go to mid. So again, T1 overloading, playing into the Faker side, leaving the Gragas on the weak side, which Gragas is really good at. And just fuck the Jax. You're forced to group up to slow this down as Gen G, but you can't do shit. And then whoever, like, goes in top here, like, Zeus going to shift up after this wave. Or are they going to have him TP? Like, yeah, he's just going to walk, save the fucking TP. It's a cannon wave, so you're going to eat it all. It's so clean. Who cares if you miss cannon? You get XP, it's fine. They drop mid, but Gen G can't hit mid. If they do, their tempo's ruined. It's T1, like, are playing such good early games and such good maps when they get ahead. A lot of it's, like, just the fact that, like, when they get a wave +1 and they have grub advantage, much like what we saw in the Weibo BLG series, each team just instantly going to, like, 0-1-4 approaches. And also they get rift for nothing here. Gen G decides they can't contest. Like, this for me is, like, honestly game over. But T1's champions are so strong early. They need to get Pays to 2 items before they can really consider the fight. I think they need Jax to 2 items so they can, like, really consider a fight. Yeah, Ashe is just melting them. They get almost a double crash. Just an absolute fisting. And, like, Faker, while all this is going on, by the way, just gets to get this wave. And then, like, they shift into that lane. Again, Zeus has TP. They're just, like, falling like flies one by one. You're gonna TP in, get the last dinner. Oh my god. I mean, what T1 just did in the last like 2 minutes is why 6 grubs are just so illegal to get over or give over to some of the best teams. But like, Jesus Christ. I mean, Gen G just like absolutely. This sequence of plays is just ridiculous, guys. In the next minute and a half, T1's gonna take 3 towers. I mean, this TP from Chovy is terrible. Like, you have to pretty much ask, like, what Uncle Phil was talking about is you have to guess where Herald's going and ask key under it. Like, if you opt for this kind of, like, TP when you're down 6 grubs to 0, it's brutal. You cannot TP like this. It leads to this entire sequence of events, by the way. The fact that Chovy TP to that. Because T1 are just guaranteed man advantage with the TPs they have and the way they're playing out the map. That's a really bad TP from Chovy. It is. Yeah, I like, they get a wave +1, then they go 0-1-4, and then they catch the wave that was +1 when it ends up crashing into them. Arrow saves the turret. They get figure the wave. Like, look at how, like, T1 with the prio they have, they're always, like, they aren't dropping that many waves, but they're always able to play, like, 0-1-4. Or 1-0-4, somewhere on the map. After they fix a wave. After they get a wave, the +1. In this case, they're just going to drop bot wave because they got Dragon. They're just going to play into the rest of the map. They know Chovy can't take that wave. With the fact they just took Dragon. Like, that wave, it's going to, like, come out from them. But, again, Chovy was in... Chovy's TP list. He was spot a bot. Like, after this, they can't do the Dragon. Like, he just gets the shaft. Like, he can't push one more wave. He's homeless. Like, he's got a base, like, go reset. Instead, he walks the country mile, and during that, T1 gets another play. I actually think Chovy played bad in this game. I think Chovy actually played the map really bad in this game. I do. Is it choky? I mean, I don't want to, like, put that on him. Lehens was the clear underperformer, but I do think that Chovy, like, really accelerated the game for T1 with some of the waves that he showed on. Like, the last 2 really good sequences for T1 are available because Chovy had a bad TP, and then Chovy was TP-less from that bad TP and went to the wrong lane. Nice, too. That R is so good from Carrier, too. All right, we do not know exactly how this happened, but Carrier is going to get tapped. Oh, never mind. He gets a handshake out of Candied, and it's another kill. And then get ashed. Guma's playing this so well that W is so good from Guma. Guma's movement's very good. Is it incredibly spectacularly special? No, but is it just extremely solid? Yes. The Guma special. He doesn't need to be spectacular, just needs to do his job. He did it very, very well in that fight. Playing off the Carrier Chaos. Can he get the red buff? Actually, really nice to get onto Ashe here. Like, they played this very well. I mean, I think this formation's okay for T1. They just don't have Carrier on top of Guma, and Owner's the one that's going to keep the Jacks out. He does have Ashe, or he does have R, and Ashe has R, so I think they think they can do this, but he misses the Q. And then the R, I think he should have R'd beforehand in, like, hindsight. Like, the Q, he's trying to cancel the Q from Jax. It misses. And then I think he needs the R here. So that they can chain it, and then that can actually create some space for Guma where he doesn't get one tap. Which, unfortunately, he got one tapped. But it's fine, though. We got Gragas. Faker doesn't understand he's spotted. Faker was down levels in this, but like, it just didn't matter because the amount of gold they had. And he just kind of slingshots back in. I mean, again, I think playing the 4-1s the way they did is good. And if you have the other team match and everyone gets starved out of resources, that keeps you in the power window of what T1's comp does for longer. So I think that the grub advantage and the overloads were really big for T1 this game. I know we talked about this a lot, but there are a lot of reasons why it's really strong for them. They put it well. Just wait out Ariel. Fix the waves. Nice. You think DSG keeps Tenacity at least? I don't know. We'll see. I think Tenacity is a good candidate. I think Yukino is like actually also a decent candidate to hold on to. I know that we talk a lot about the other junglers in the league, but I think Yukino is promising as well. There's like so happen to be 3 really strong junglers that were better than him, but I don't think that means Yukino is bad. I still would, if I'm gonna roll the dice on jungle, I would go Kryra, but I think there are too many other junglers that like are better before that. Yeah, like compared to Yuji, like he's so raw. I agree. I mean, as always, if every talent pool was as deep as jungle, this region like would have no reason to import, you know? This game slowed down a bit, but again, like T1 just get their shit up, and if they keep on stacking these dragons, there's really not much that Genji can do. So the Baron tank, like they somewhat lack the tank the Baron, so it's a little bit unhealthy. It has to be Vi on it, which isn't exactly ideal. Alright, so they got bot to +2, and they use that. Faker reset. Faker's in a really good spot right now. He got Pen. He's sitting on the Seekers. He got Pen on the Mercs. Really good. Owner's copying the build that everyone else is doing on this jungle, but I think this game it's fine. You buff up Ashe damage, ship you to 2. And you're ahead, so Sterak's comes in. I get a good time. And then Zeus is just gonna... He doesn't care about that wave. Just gets free Drake. Gets to fix the map again. Yeah, I get like T1 just played out 3 lanes. Got to another spike for everyone, and then they fist from there. Like, the Vi is way too big now. I think they wanted to get Sterak's on Vi. I think Vi ended up just being, like, way too big this game in the end. It's like, now they're going to look to fight again. Karagasania's nice. Ah. I mean, they get Ariel for that, which is already kind of worth. And then they get both sums out of pays. Owner's Flasher is so good. Like, the time he buys is way too good. And then Faker gets in. I think the first Q Faker had is actually not great. Yeah, it's the wrong way. If he hit both on pays, it's better. Really nice ult from Keria. It's just like over Ashe, over his team. Make sure the Ahri and the Jax can't get in, and then Ashe just takes care of business from here. This flash from Guma is ballistic, but I love it. Like, again, he splits the fight with that flash just to guarantee to win, and then they just go push and win. Really, I mean, if the cask isn't up, I think that's a decent try from Keen, but... Yeah, die for wave. And Faker Styles. Based. Good game. T1 played this map really well. T1 is, again, playing really good in this tournament. We love their early games. We love the T1 early games. I'm so done with this region. DSG first move is import. I can't, man. We've talked a lot about how mid is probably the role you want to use imports on, guys. Like, again, ABO was the best mid that we had in NACL. Spyrax was next. Like, we've seen those guys in LCS, you know. I gotta say, like, I think that there were risks. I think that Toasty is the risk that I think I would take if I want one, but let's see what else they pick up. Like, it might make sense for their roster in the end to have Abadage. I feel like this sets up to take, like, other young players in other positions potentially, you know? So we'll see what they end up doing. Isn't the point of the guest slot to prove NA talent? Let's see what they do. And yes, in a way, it is. It's a way to let anyone to play in and prove themselves, yes. Let's put it this way. I'd say the two people that are from NACL, the people we're talking about the most that are on the board, are Surdy and Yuji. If Dig or DSG field both of them, would you be happy? And who else would you want to see? I'm not saying like both together, just like, let's say like they're both on those rosters in some way, shape, or form. And also, like, if you want more, feel free to name who else you want to see. I'd love to see that too. Oh yeah, I gotta talk about this draft. All right. We have support Maokai. Game 4. Ban's changing this time. They took away the Silas. And we dropped the Nilly ban again. This time, Ash has prioritized instant Varus from Guma. I think bringing up LCS ready talent isn't really a thing, IMO. I mean, what do you mean by that? What about Jackie's? Well, what is our point? Like, you think these guys were not LCS ready? Like, do you want to take more risk? Is that what your point is? I mean, I'm down for both. I feel like if you deserve it with your play, then you should still be at the top of the totem pole. Like, we're going to say promote Crimson over Surdy. I don't think that makes a lot of sense at the moment. Even if I think that Crimson is like someone that I think can pan out to be really good. Much like, you know, the rest of his family. I mean, I've been talking about Toasty for a reason. Like, I have him over the current mids we have, but also, like, we haven't seen Surdy get a shot yet. If there's any other top laner promoted that's not Surdy, like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So I think, like, bringing up the LCS ready talent isn't a thing. I don't think that that's true. Like, there are other people, like, I mean, Yon is a good example of someone that, like, was ready, and it took him a little bit of time to figure it out, but he's figured it out. Like, he's quite good. Like, you got to give, I mean, yeah, it took a year to, like, figure out what's going on and to figure out what's best for him. And he performed really well this past year. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get back to the review. Ash first pick, good. Ash is OP. This is, I think, the second loss that Ash experienced, by the way. I think Ash is 8-2 or 8-1. It's the first or second loss in the knockout stage. Ends up being the Varus and the Skarner to answer, which we get Nidalee and Triss. This is a better setup, I think, for Gen G. They have double marksmen, so they have scaling. And that's just taking things that can hold the door later on. Jax is really happy this game, though. No, you're good, of course. It's why we do chat and why we talk about the stream. Ori Bard taken away. No Braum, no Cassante. Cassante really good ban against Kane. Ends up being Ari. So we get Poppy Maokai. I hate the Maokai here for, I mean, a lot of reasons. You're just, like, we talked about this with Thin Uncle Phil. This champ sucks. It's, like, early game. And it really does open the door for T1 to pick something like Pyke just to be able to match the Italy and, like, actually run things early. If you're worried about, like, if you don't want Leona here for whatever reason, like, I would go... I mean, you could Nautilus. I think Nautilus gets kind of abused by this, but if you're, like, really concerned about that or, like, want guaranteed point-and-click CC, I think that's fine. I just don't understand why this wasn't Nautilus. Or, why this wasn't, like, Leona or Rel. I don't get the Maokai. I think blinding Maokai is as illegal as blinding Braum. And it gets punished with the carry of Pyke, which was really good. Down for the Pyke pick. You have a lot of things to set it up. It's going to be poke Varus. So this is a lot of early game for T1 that they are showing. They will get outscaled by the double marksman this game. So it's about using like this to keep range. And again, we have ways to deal with Poppy. Like this is going to have to deal with Poppy. We're going to have to ignore Poppy. We gotta focus on everything else here. The Halo Blades Ash for me is a bit of an FF. I don't know exactly what to do here. If you are Pays, I mean, unironically, it's not a bad game for Fleet, even if everyone's allergic to Fleet. I don't think it's terrible, just given how hard the lane's going to be. But I don't know. I think this is also an FF. Like, you're just saying that we're going to stay in lane. The fact that we have this point. I don't know. I don't know what Pays should go, but I think Halo Blades Ash is like, meh. I think the idea is that we outscale anyway, so we're just going to try and match early as much as we can, because that's the hardest part of the game, but yeah, I don't know, it's meh. Nice sweeper. Get insta flash. They do find out where Canyon starts, so Skarner has info. And it is standard lanes, which is good for T1. I think the Poppy's a lot worse in a lane swap scenario than Jax. Which is, like, unless you're going to dive, and like I just don't think that you can dive, as Carrier takes another flash away. Jinji weren't respecting that. They should have played for the next wave to walk up, but yeah, I mean, what happens against Vera's Pike? Keen's gonna hold the wave, nice. But Faker gets the cannon. Wait, did he get the cannon? Yeah, he got the cannon. And they get Chovy flash. Chovy was down W, so I really like the fact they just took Chovy flash. Hello, V2. Hello, Kawano. Canyon still got a pretty super clear. Owner's down here with Carrier. They're going to look for dive, as there are no flashes on either bot laner, but Canyon here to cover with how we finish up his clear. Owner's going to go take other shit, but it's fine. He gets his respawn camps here in a sec. We'll see if Canyon goes to actually contest these. Looks like he will, which I would like a lot. But again, Trist is no flash, so it's a little bit scarier to walk in. And Faker pulls the wave to that side, so we can help defend. Dave's kind of scouting that. Nice. Well played. Yeah, so he froze the wave on Trist. Going to force Trist to walk up. It is post TP. And again, Trist is no flash, so that could be scary. Keen did not dodge. Carrier has a roam timer here because they got bot in. Again, they went through bot, so now Carrier gets this timer. It missed, but it's fine. A decent idea. Like, if he hits it, then they definitely get another sum out. Really like Kaguma just cleansed. It's just the cleanse, not the flash. I think that he could have dragged the hens under the turret, but with Aftershock, it just isn't enough if he does decide to flash. Like, if he flashed here, it would drag the hens under the turret. The hens is flashless. So maybe if you drop an E, it's enough. Like, to get the slow and get 2 tower shots. But again, Aftershock, I don't think it would be enough. So I like how he just burned cleanse. Not the end of the world. And clean. I don't know what else to say, man. Fager just pressed his buttons. He was waiting for a flash because Canyon has it, and instead he just hits the charm. He doesn't react. Would have been hard for Canyon to react. I mean, I do think that, like, flash angles that he has here, I mean, it's a point blank charm. Like, he would have to react to that. I don't think he wants to burn flash and die. It's a nice chain from Owner. Chovy. If Chovy W'd in, I don't know if he has W or not, but if he did W in, might have been able to kick Owner out, but would have put him at a pretty tough spot, so. And that's Grubs, which is really big for T1 again. T1 wants to make this game very fast. As Lehens is flashless still and gets chained. Really nice chain CC from T1. Guma can flash out. He has flash. He only burned cleanse last time. They weren't able to get in range to follow him. And it is going to be 2-for-1 grubs, but I think T1 taking the kills and getting these waves in and getting a good reset is still very worth. And I really like how T1 bailed out of this so fast. Uncle Phil was talking about this in the last review. How like when the fight's over, just realizing when to bail out so you can make the next play faster is good. Guma fishes with an arrow, but this play is over. They use their tools. They're going to go base and have a good deploy. So they're going to go match Ashe and Maokai, so they can't use grub advantage. And they still want this 2v2. And then Jax gets a big wave. So he collects a big wave, which is better for Jax. Again, like, Varus... Like, Jax's goal for me, he's the one that has to deal with the Poppy later. And it's going to be, like, the one thing that can match the scaling of Gen G. And also open up the side lanes in both these matchups. So I think him getting the prio wave here is actually quite good. Meanwhile, we have 4 up here. So again, playing the 4-1. Oh, man. Lehens. Oh, boy, Lehens. Yeah. So, huge L. That kills all of Genji's tempo. They have to go TP to fix shit, and Zeus gets way, like, really far ahead from that sequence. Not to mention another good reset where they get a prio deploy. You get to choose what they want to do first. I support it. Aftershock, support Maokai is just the fake of shit, man. Maokai, OP as shit. Support Maokai, fake as shit. You're an Arbot, man. Like, look at how safe Guma is. The fact that we have no bought boots for the Hens. Carrier just gets to hunt this man for the first 12 minutes of the game and have prio everywhere on him. And Guma can 1v2 on this Poke Varus, which I think was really, really good this game. Like, they realize they can't win the DPS fight. Once they sign up for Ahri and the Triss, they realize that. So the Poke Varus gets to play into the pick identity that T1 has. I think it's a really smart game for it. I'm really glad that we saw Poke Varus making a bit of a comeback here this phase of the tournament. I think there are a lot of scenarios where it's still like good / playable. Anyway, T1, they got all 3 of the second grubs. I actually missed that. Oh, it's just off of... Oh, okay, Genji are kind of sacking these. With where they put their wins. Like, if Ashe is bot, they're just electing to take the mountain. Instead of second grubs. I mean, I don't hate it. I don't think they can fight right now. Like, look at the mid items. The mid items are really bad. I don't think they can fight. I think that they'd rather just stall the game out. Again, Varus spikes right now. Or Varus is much stronger than Ashe right now. So I think this is okay. Yeah. I mean, T1 has a really big lead right now. I will say that their comp, like, there is a scaling advantage for me with Gen G, so they do need to take off. But I think that where they've allocated their gold right now, it can help, like, get them more strength further into the game by having an accelerated Varus and an accelerated Jax. I think those are the 2 people that matter the most. Like, for Varus and Ahri this game, for me, are just kind of like the utility to open up space for Jax. Like, also just, like, find the picks. I think Varus is the most important, having... Like, being accelerated, because he's the one that's going to be one-shotting people. Like, Ahri just needs the CDR shit. I think that's it. Which Faker has, so it's really good. I think this is a game where, like, Horizon Focus or Lichbane second are really useful. I'm curious to see what Faker goes. He always gets a Dark Seal. Again, this guy's Ahri is... I mean, Chovy, Knight, and Faker, probably 3 best Ahris in the world. Yeah, I mean, the Rift Herald, again, like, T1, I think, like, in order to break the mid turret for T1, Genji does need this. Obviously, with T1, like, they're strong now. I think this is really good. But like, the sequence leading up to this is just so hard. Like, Genji, again, are really far behind. It's really hard for them to fight at the moment. They really need Poppy to be here to, like, dictate a numbers advantage of some sort. But by having, like, Faker TP to just guarantee this turret and Kane TPing here, I think Genji puts themselves in the pocket where, like, the red side Varus will just free fire on them. And that's kind of exactly what happens. The Hens needs to flash that. So Herald does go to Genji, but it's pretty costly. And they do lose the Hens. And they're going to lose mid-outer and top-outer taken at the start of the play. And T1 gets Dragon. And they're going to go play into bot. So for me, like, T1 really got a lot out of Genji. And they won the health bar war really heavy with that. And they should be able to redeploy and just take Drake from here. They just need to get Jax back out on the map. Oh, Jax going top. Okay. Just going to take it. Yeah, because Genji has to match. Okay. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I think that ends up... The Rift Drop ends up being well worth for T1. They pick up another, like, 2k gold in their lead in the Dragon. It's really good for them. Infernal Drake, really nice with Varus Ahri, who are going to be building damage and will have a lot of resources. I mean, this is the second time in a row that the Hens has had flash up and dies, so just kind of saving it for next game, I guess, which is a bit of a bummer. I think it would have been really nice if he flashed the one at the Rift Herald. If he dies to that, like, it's whatever, they won't get anything. But, again, just getting gold for T1. It is Witchbane Ahri. I like it a lot. You get, like, Witchbane interacts really well with Ahri's kit. It gives you stats that you really like as Ahri. I think this is, like, really slept on. You don't care about Poppy. Your job is to kill the squishies, which T1 is trying to do. They're trying to play assassin mode. So I think Faker's the only Ahri that's, like, really doing this in the tournament. I do think it's a really good read. Not to mention it gives you a lot of side landing prowess too at this point of the game. I think there are a lot of games where it's good, but people, like, you just don't have as much team fight threat overall without Leandries, which is going to do more damage overall. Whereas the Lichbane is more focused damage on targets, and that's what T1 cares more about. Again, Ahri's kit, you need resets. There are squishes in this game. I do like it. I wish that more Ahris would do this. So he's going to chunk Canyon. Not the most valuable. Canyon's going to get this up in like 20 seconds, but they're going to defend the Rift, so they guess where it is. It's S-Key. I think you do have to drop mid as Genji to try and break the Varus this game. And then the Hens just decides to run it again. Yeah, I mean, the Varus ult really makes it so that Genji can't approach further. So they keep the tower up. It's neutralized, and T1 just gets to go back to a winning map. Carry is standing in front of his AD to make sure that they can base. And then TP to prevent this play. But Faker goes down. The charm was a little bit rough from Faker here. I think he could have played that one better. I think he was expecting Chovy to jump like towards the wall on him. Was not the case. Regardless, though, flash from Zeus is really nice. Was that needed? I don't even know, actually, because I think Canyon does this regardless. And this just guarantees another dragon. Oh, they just go Baron. Yeah, and Genji aren't contesting, so... again, T1 are just playing blistering fast. I think Genji... They aren't really connected through the jungle for this. Owner's in the right spot. They have the vision, but Owner was able to get around it. And with the Hex gates, they can rotate a little bit faster. It's a drop a mid for this. Just ended up being a little bit deep to get Faker. So what? Mid-inner and top-outer were taken, and then T1 goes to contest the dragon, so they stall it. So they get this too. Really nice. They'll drop the towers for that. It's fine. And then this is their big wave, so they're just going to play on it and escort it all the way in. So inner. And that is a beautiful Baron from T1, like, to play for that recovery. They went to their longest lane. meaning the lane where creeps are closest to them, and played it all the way through. I think that's how you play Baron. It's really, really nice. Nice. Nice from Keen. And the fact he got that off is really nice, because it does just... They just get Zeus. And then Keria goes for the R reset, but Keen gets under it. So well played, Keen. Like, he dodged out on that, and then the Hens lives. He gets this under Sky proc. There's the only way he's going to buy time. Really well played by Keen. And that's a little bit too fast from T1 here. I mean, I'm down for this. It's just that Keen got this off. I think they needed to cancel it a little bit sooner, or have Zeus catch it. Because if... I mean, they didn't have a TP, so even if Zeus catches it, it's bad, but that split ends up being quite bad. If Zeus catches it, at least, like, they need the disengage. Because the Verisalt was burned, which is, like, a lot of the power in disengage. Also, that hook prevented from Keria did prevent, the tendrils from spreading. It moves, like, the center of it, so Genji could have waited it out a little bit longer. It wasn't as scary after that. I think that's worth mentioning, too. Yeah, I think if Keria gets a reset there on Keen, like, maybe he gets a second one, and then it's playable. So I do want to give credit to Keen for that E. That was quite nice. Good defense from Genji. Still hard, though. But it does stop the Baron. Miramana on Varus. Really like this. I think that you need this. Like, if you don't go Miramana on Varus, then you get outscaled too fast in the game for me. And it just gives you, like, pretty much infinite mana hack. Like, mana just becomes way less of a problem, which is really nice. Because if you don't go this item, then you are very mana hungry. Timothy Alex, sup Cubby, sup chat, loving the sweater. I mean, it's Halloween. On Halloween in college, I would wear a tacky Christmas sweater, much like this one. And I'd show up to a party with eggnog and then just say I got the wrong invite. It's my protest to Halloween. Christmas is and tacky. I just get to wear another tacky sweater. With a tacky joke to go alongside it. You know, it's perfect. Anyway, third dragon for T1. Again, kind of hard for Genji to contest, but I think it's the miracle. I will say in these elongated scenarios, Canyon is really valuable. It's a really good hop away from Canyon here. I think Guma was a little bit slow to react to this. If Guma follows up the R here, I do think it's quite good, as it did catch someone, and there was a slow. The fact that Canyon's able to get out, and it's really nice. So that's a really big cooldown that's gone. That flash from the Hens is good. They do get Faker out. And yeah, like this fight, they end up in a DPS war fight, which isn't as good for T1. Oh man, Faker went for a fucking play here. I think his R didn't get on the Chovy. Yeah, it didn't catch Chovy. I think if his R catches Chovy, then he might be able to reset and get the other side of the fight. Nice jump from Canyon. Well played from Genji as a team. Again, the setup's not great for T1. The fact that Genji are in the river already, I think, is the oopsie. But Zeus isn't here. They do see Keen. I think that I would have held this a little bit more aggressively as T1 if I'm Guma. I think Guma needs to threaten his R as they walk through the choke, not after they go through the choke. I think that's the biggest change I'd make. But if that R hits, I think that things do go different. But when the R misses, I do think the fight's okay for Genji. And Pays plays this fight beautifully with Chovy. I think the flash from Pays is like really next level, actually. I thought Pays had a really, really nice fight. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of Faker to ignore the Poppy. You do have to do it, but Guma just couldn't reach, and yeah. Hi, Cubby, I like your Christmas sweater. It's a good Halloween costume. So that's Baron for Genji. Yeah, I mean, the R didn't go onto the Trist. It's just where you cast it as RE, and I think the Flash bought some space for Chovy, so yeah. Yeah, Pays played that fight phenomenally, though. I didn't really see Canyon's fight, but obviously damage-wise, he played it very well, too. So, nice spear. Angle towards the wall in the back of the brush. Really nice, really hard to dodge. Sometimes it's the little things. Good defense here from T1. Cleanse was needed for Gumas. I think the ult angle from the Hens was good, but really nice damage coming out from Gumo. Like, that really stalls and stymies the push for Gen G. It slows it down a lot. That's, I think, really important for T1. They bought a wave. So, they will lose it in the end, but, like, they can't push more because of that, you know? Which is why that's valuable. And I really like, again, how T1, they're faster reset. They understand that's going down. So they get the resets off. Now they can match wherever Gen G is going next on the map. They reclaim most of their jungle. They're able to take the camps, so Gen G doesn't fuck them with camps either. It's a pretty nice Baron defense overall, but they are down now. A fight was expensive for T1. Again, I really like Faker's build. I think Faker's Ahri build and the way that he plays Ahri is, like, again, really next level. Ahri has really good AP ratios. You don't want the pen as much because a lot of your damage comes from the true damage in the back half of the queue. So AP ratio just matters more. Pen doesn't affect that. Pen affects other stuff, but you can delay pen for stuff like Death Cap if you can get it. So, again, just really good basics from Faker. Double Vamp Scepter picked up, though, for Chovy and Pays is really nice. Again, if they get a fight like that where they're able to DPS, Gen G comp is favored. T1 need to lean on their cooldowns and be able to disengage when their cooldowns are off. Yeah, fight gets decided here. So they see Keria on this side, and they saw Zeus on this side. Oh, they don't. Zeus kind of TP'd in fog. Is Zeus spotted? I think he stepped over a nid trap. Yeah, I'm seeing... Okay, you can see his health bar tick. His health bar is ticking down. He stepped on a nid trap, so it was pinged. But they called it before that. And this is wonderful from Keen. Poppy Flash, really valuable, and you need to make sure that you're going to do good shit at Poppy Flash, but Owner is the Skarner. And both Pays and Chovy did... Oh, Chovy has Flash coming up. Pays and Chovy didn't Flash this. I think if Chovy R's this, by the way, if he R's the Skarner... I know it seems counterintuitive, but it would have moved the hitbox, and then, like, this is already a really good fight for them. The fact that they both get yoinked, especially Pays, who had Flash up. Because now Zeus can take this angle, Chovy's not doing damage, and they get the Ashe, which is the most important person. Guma hitting the Ashe too. Fuck the Poppy, doesn't matter. Not nearly as much as the others. They melt the Poppy after. Keria is the GOAT. I think Chovy going for that auto is definitely a mistake. He needs to get the bomb, but after you get this, you just W out. Him going for that auto got him in range for this, and then he had to burn everything. Red buff was applied. So then he goes down, and that's game. And they try and stall out. There's no stalling out. It's game. Anyway, pretty insane. T1's pretty insane, guys. Anyway, that's it for this VoD review. We got T1 BLG. I'm really excited for the final. I think it's gonna be a good one. I have T1 favored. I have T1 3-1. But this was great. Yeah, so props to T1. It's been insane watching them this tournament. I think their O game has been fantastic, and that's gonna carry them to finals. So anyway, thanks so much for tuning in this VoD review. If you guys enjoyed the content, as always, drop a like, comment, and or a sub, and follow me everywhere at CubbyXX. See you guys for the next one. Peace.